Connecting from one Macintosh to another to remotely troubleshoot it is a fairly simple procedure. You just go to System Preferences, then you would click on the Sharing option, select Screen Sharing, and then you just enter in the IP address or remote Mac name followed by the username and password, and you're connected. There's several things that can go wrong or can cause problems when you do connect to another computer, so let's take a look at those. If you have display issues, then under Display, you can select Scale to Fit Available Space or Show Size. It depends on how large your screen is and how much of it you want to use for the screen. The option changes the default behavior when you share the screens or the computers you've never connected to before. Another issue that can come up would be jerky mouse movements. Here you would choose under the display to select the Scroll the Screen option to determine how the screen sharing window behaves when you move the mouse. To decide which option you want, just try each one by selecting it and then moving the mouse around in the window. You also have an option to block users. And what you do is in the Options window, from the Allow Screen Sharing Requests From pop-up menu, here you can choose which users are going to be allowed or not allowed to connect to your remote computer. If you're using a Macintosh and you'd like to connect to a Windows computer to troubleshoot it, then you would download what's called the Remote Desktop Connection application, which is a free download from Microsoft. And it works just like the Windows to Windows product. So once you connect, it will work the same way. You'll have the same options. But sometimes things don't always go the way you expect them to, so you'll need to troubleshoot that RDC application, such as you could have a no connection. So you want to check the allowed user list and make sure that the remote computer is going to be reachable. If you have poor video, you can change to different speed conditions. So if you have high speed, you can choose the most optimal option. And if you have low speed, such as dial-up speed or just something a little bit faster than that, then you can choose less graphics capabilities. If you're having trouble printing, it's because this is an unsupported feature when you're using printing from a Mac to a Windows computer using the Remote Desktop Connection protocol. But I have found that if you use a network printer, you tend to have more success even though it's not supported. And if you're having issues with local resources, such as the ability for clipboards, local drives, and others, make sure that you check the box for local resources, also including the printing option, even though it may or may not work for you. Remote control to or from a Macintosh can assist in troubleshooting another person's computer with ease. If you'd like to troubleshoot a Macintosh from a Windows computer, there's some things you should know, such as there is no supported Microsoft solution. So there's no products from Microsoft to be able to help you with this. However, there are some third-party products out there, such as TeamViewer, Join.in, ConnectWise, VNC, and many others. And the prices vary for these as well. There are also some no-cost options. Sometimes when we try to make our remote connection, we have an issue, and there's a few things that you can check, such as the third-party vendor may have some basic connectivity issues that they know about where a simple fix can be applied. You may also need to check the firewall on the Macintosh to open some ports. Some of the products, such as VNC, require an open port in order to connect to the Mac. And in some cases, you may need to open up firewall ports on the internet-provided router as well. Now, not all of these third-party products require ports to be opened. Let's take a look at this in more detail as to why that is. A product like TeamViewer or ConnectWise will connect up to the internet rather than from Windows computer directly to the Mac. So what happens is you have the remote request. Let's say it's coming from a Windows computer and it's heading over up to a cloud server request. So it's not going directly to the Macintosh, it's going to the cloud server. And then from there, it goes down to the connected PC. The connected PC says, yes, this is okay to connect to, and it goes back up to the cloud server and back down to the remote request computer. And then we can make our connection from the Windows computer to the Macintosh. There is no direct connection. And the reasoning behind this is because all outbound ports typically are going to be open that are needed in order to make the connection request by default. So even though there's firewalls turned on both sides as well as on the computers themselves, it's not going to be an issue because these are normally open ports anyway. And every remote request out also allows a remote request back in again without changing the firewall. If you were to use VNC, or say this was a Windows to Windows computer in two different LANs or a WAN to LAN connection, you would have to have ports open on the computers as well as on the firewall. Although not as often used, Windows to Mac support can be an important part of an office that uses Apple computers. Macintosh can connect to Windows by connecting through file sharing. And Windows file sharing has an exact syntax. You have to type it in an exact way, otherwise the file share won't come up. So to get there, you get to go to Menu, Connect to Server Options. So the Go menu is at the top of your Mac, and you'll click on that, and then click on Connect to Server option. Then you'll type SMB://, and that's followed by the IP address or the computer name itself if it's resolvable. Typically, you'd use the IP address, especially if you're not using DNS from the Windows server, in order to get that to be resolved. Once you type that information, you get prompted for a username and password. You enter that, and then you'll see all the different shared folders on that Windows server that you're going to have access to, and you can open them up from there. There are some troubleshooting techniques for connecting to a Windows file share from a Macintosh, such as connecting by name is a problem. You can try the IP address. You can match the workgroup name or join Active Directory. In the Macintosh settings, that's where you can set up the workgroup name. So you want to make sure it matches the workgroup name of the server you're connecting to if it's not a member of Active Directory. And if it is a member, you can now join Active Directory from a Macintosh computer. So that way, when you go to open up a Windows file share, you won't be prompted for the username and password every time you try to connect. Also, make sure you're using the correct username and password. That's a common reason why a Windows file share won't open. And check the folder permissions and network connectivity. So on the Windows file server side, make sure that that Macintosh user that they're using to connect with is in the list of acceptable users, as well as making sure that you can, say, ping or try to connect to the server in general using some other protocol, just to make sure that network connectivity is not an issue. We can connect to Linux file sharing as well. From a Macintosh, Linux file sharing also has exact syntax, and it's a very similar procedure as it is with the Windows server, except instead of putting in SMB, you're going to be putting in NFS:// for network file service. And then you're going to put the IP address or name if it's resolvable, followed by the shared folder. You'll then get prompted for the username and password, and once you enter that, you can get access to those shared folders. Now, if you're having trouble connecting to Linux, you can log in as root and open the etc/exports folder. And then you would add the insecure parameter to the line, and that defines the share that you're trying to access. Here's an example that you would change, and you can see the word insecure highlighted. That would be followed by the export fs-a command, and then you would try to connect once again. If you're still having trouble connecting, it might be because of local folder permissions, just as the Windows file shares. There might be a restriction to the access to the owner group or other users. You could also create a new shared folder with more open permissions as well. Connecting to file shares on Linux and Windows from a Macintosh is usually pretty error-free, but when there are errors, these fixes should assist you in connecting.